Collecting physical media can be overwhelming. It can sometimes be downright pricey. So I thought what I'd do tonight is I'd show you two labels that are actually budget friendly, and we'll go over them, talk about them. I'll show you the ones that I have in my collection, give some recommendations, and show you how it can help to collect boutique labels that don't make you have to break the bank. So collecting can get a bit expensive, and before we go any further, I want to say that this video is inspired by Heath from Sailor Midnight, who, by the way, does such amazing work. If you're not following him, you should be following him on his channel, on his website. Check out his Instagram. He does great stuff, and it hit me. He did an Instagram short about trying to collect physical media, and people that are getting into it right now, and it can be really pricey. And there are a lot of titles and stuff that can get expensive. So I thought what I'd do was give some hopefully helpful suggestions. Now, remember that some of the stuff I'm going to show here may be from a while back, and although they were cheaper at the time, some of them may have gone out of print or whatnot. However, I always say to check through thrifting, through eBay, through your local Facebook marketplace, or Kijiji if you have it in your area, for some older titles. I've found a lot of really good deals that way. But with that being said, there are two companies that really stick out when it comes to collecting on a budget, especially with what some of them have been doing lately and the amount of sales and stuff that they've been putting up there. And I think we're going to start out with Vestron Video. Vestron Video is a company that it means a lot to me. As an older collector, Vestron Video VHS was that name that you'd get. Was that if you saw the Vestron Video name, it was a cool genre title, it was something that you were looking forward to. So they brought back the Vestron Video label for a series of collector series Blu-rays. Now the neat thing about it is, as they were initially coming out, most of the titles ran like $30 or under, and I don't think I paid over that for any of them. And the latter ones, actually I paid between 10 to maybe maximum like 12 for. So, and some of those are kind of collections. So let's get into it. Now, some of the early stuff, not so sure how easy the earlier stuff is to find, but it is out there, and I definitely would not pay a mint for it. Although there are some great titles. The first one that they ever put out was Chopping Mall. For those that know my channel and know me, I once upon a time in the era of VHS, I wanted to start my own label before kind of labels were a big thing, and Chopping Mall was one of the ones where I really wanted to get the rights to, because I wanted this to be something that I put out back in the day. What's really neat about this is it is a great Blu-ray. There's a bunch of video commentaries, special features on the back of it. When I picked this up, I picked it up for under $20. So fantastic release right there. Next up was Blood Diner. Now, when I got Blood Diner, it was one of those that wasn't as known as well as some of the other ones I'm going to show you. So this is by Jackie Kong. She directed a few films, and Blood Diner was a spiritual successor, like sequel sort of, to Blood Feast, for Herschel Gordon-Lewis's Blood Feast. Kind of a comedic take on that, which in itself was kind of comedic in its own way. But because this was so unknown, when I picked this up, and you got to remember, I'm talking Canadian dollars, not American or not in British pounds or anything like that. I got this for $8, and this was brand new. Blood Diner was one of those that I wasn't sure of, but at $8, I figured I'd give it a shot, and I was glad I did. I actually enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to do. I had to follow this up with one here, Waxworks. Waxworks 2 was a double feature. In the UK, they put this out, but I think they put them out like only the first one. But in North America, they put these out as two films, and it's really cool. The neat thing about it is that they actually gave each one their own disc with their own disc artwork, and you could either put the front like Waxworks on there, or you could use Waxworks 2. I thought was really neat. They had special features for each one. I know commentaries, theatrical trailers. Waxworks had more on it because it was a more known film. It had like a kind of a vintage like making of. But this was a lot of fun. And again, anything I'm going to show you here is like in the under $20 bracket when I picked it up. Next up was one that I had to grab, and that was Return the Living Dead 3. This is beautiful Melinda Clark. It is the third Return of the Living Dead film, and probably one of the best. The second best, if not the best. This might be my favorite of the Living Dead films. I know it's sacrilege to say that, right? But it's just a really cool. And we got an audio commentary with Brian Yuzna, who directed this, so it's going to be a great ride. Melinda Clark, and special makeup effects artist Tom Ramone. So great stuff on here, conversations, interviews. Next up was actually probably one of the latter ones I picked up, and the one that I really wanted was Lair of the White Worm. I'm a huge Ken Russell fan. I'm a big Doctor Who fan. Peter Capaldi, a very young Peter Capaldi, who would go on to play Doctor Who years later, is in this one here. It stars Hugh Grant, and it's really, really freaking good. If you've never seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's weird, it's strange. If you like Ken Russell stuff, you'll probably love it. If you don't like Ken Russell stuff, maybe not so much, but great title. I had a lot of fun with this one. Next up is what I call a gateway horror, and that means it is one of those where when you watch it, like especially if you're a kid or if you show it to a kid, it's a great start into the horror genre for a younger viewer, and it's The Gate. You maybe want to watch it first to make sure if you got like younger kids, but this is what The Gate is the gateway horror. So kids watch this, and it works well with a younger mindset as well, because it goes in on the fears that a younger person would have: the loss of a parent, the loss of a pet, that type of thing. And some things do get dialed back to give it a kind of a happier ending, but like it has monsters and creatures and just really, really fun. A very young Stephen Dorff stars in this one, and it's a one to check out. Next up and these were the ones I was excited about that I got in at the, right at the $20 mark, was Wishmaster Collection. So 1 to 4. I know some of these are pricier now, so just so be on the lookout through eBay or through charity shops or thrifting or flea markets to find some of these, because I know some of these did go up in price. And it's not, you don't want to break the bank for a thing, but this is a really nice set. It's a 4-disc set. It's got all 4 Wishmaster films, the 2 Andrew Divoff ones, and the 2 kind of straight to DVD ones, which aren't that bad. Actually, John Novak is in here. I think Chris Angel, not that Chris Angel, directed the second 2, 3 and 4. The other collection here stars the late Julian Sands for the first 2 anyway. That's the Warlock collection. There's actually 3 in this one: Warlock 1, 2, and 3. The third one has Bruce Payne. I think so. Bruce Payne. I know Ashley Lawrence is the star of it, but I'm pretty sure it's Bruce Payne. And really had a lot of fun with this one right here. Now, after that, then with titles like Little Monsters, and the next title I'm going to show you, the Vestron video label really went down in cost. Like you could pick them up for under $10, and the next 5 that I'm going to show you are all under $10. First off is Maximum Overdrive. I just love this film. I'm a huge AC/DC fan too, so the soundtrack just kills it for me. It is based on Stephen King's story Trucks, and there actually was remade. Trucks was remade, but this is my favorite version of it. We got Bart Simpson, Yearly Smith, in here as well. There's a ton of special features on here. And you can find a lot of these if you're living in the U.S. At your local Walmart. So some of these actually started showing up there. This one thing started showing up like for $12, but it was hit around the $10 point when it got sent to me by a very generous viewer. As did this one here, which was another one that hit at the $10 mark, and that is David Cronenberg's Shivers. What's really cool about this one is that even though I have the Arrow like sexy steelbook edition of this, I needed to have this release. This release actually has a commentary with David Cronenberg, and I'm a massive David Cronenberg fan. I love this movie, and this is the only way to get that commentary, as far as I know, like at least in North America. So if you've never checked this out, again, this one hit under 10 as well. Dementia 13 Director's Cut. Again, this is one that I got for around like $7, and got like beaten up like along the way, but still, I love Dementia 13. Next up, next two were $12 each, and this one is Silent Night, Deadly Night collection. Because I had 1 and 2 like from Scream Factory, I definitely wanted to get like 3, 4, and 5. I had like a DVD edition of these, but these were loaded with features as well. And my old like kind of, I think it might have been Lionsgate or Lions, did like 3, 4, and 5 initially on DVD with no features and kind of dodgy quality. I'm not even quite sure if it was in the right aspect ratio, but these are great. You get all 3 of them with audio commentaries on each of them, special features, interviews, and everything, and ran for around $12. Same with this one right here. It's only 2 films, but this one kind of makes me wince, and that is the Dentist Collection. Corbin Burnson is amazing in this film, and I love these here cases. I know like the slipcover on the inside are, it's the same right there, but still, it's still nice to have a nice little slipcover if you can find it. But don't miss out on a film because if the slipcover's in there, like still grab that movie. Now this one here had, same artwork on each one, but it's The Dentist and Dentist 2. It actually even came with a digital copy of the film as well. And that's a neat thing, is you can get digital copies of movies because as Heath says, it really is about the movie itself. So if you really want to, watch the movie and maybe want to watch it on the go, that's also a way that you can do it, because they do put in digital copies for some of their new releases. They did the same thing with Silent Night, Deadly Night, with Dementia 13, the Director's Cut, and with Shivers as well. And I think Little Monsters, which I don't have, I think has that too. The other company that I wanted to talk about was MVD Rewind. I love the stuff that they do, and normally their stuff runs usually between 10 to 12, and maximum for a lot of the stuff comes in at around maybe like 25 or 30, but if you wait for a sale, you can usually get them for like 10 to 12. That's kind of what I usually pay for mine. I've been buying them since the beginning, and this is DOA, and they give like, for if you just want the movie with some special features and stuff like that, or you just want the movie itself, MVD Rewind often has DVD editions of their films as well. So if you want to check something out, and they're usually pretty cheap, especially they have like sales all the time. DOA is a documentary about punk music, and when Sid came over here with the Sex Pistols. Sid and Nancy came over with the Sex Pistols, went over to the United States to tour. There's some great stuff in here, some wonderful music. Like they mentioned here, live performances by Sex Pistols, the Dead Boys, Generation X, Billy Idol's band at the time, Rich Boys, the X-Ray Specs, Sham 69, Clash, Iggy Pop, a whole ton of stuff on here. There's even a documentary about the making of the documentary. It is great, and these MVD Rewind releases come with a poster as well. Now the first one came with a double-sided poster. Most of them just come with a regular poster, kind of a mini poster if you want to call it. But it's a neat little extra to have, and it's a way to get a boutique label release and not break the bank, so to get some really good stuff. Because a lot of the stuff that I showed you initially was horror or horror kind of adjacent. So I want to show you a company that does more than horror with that. Next up was Attack the Killer Tomatoes, the classic, and had a lot of fun with this. Again, it has the the miniature poster in this one, again, hitting around the $12 range. Special features right there. For a lot of these, you can buy DVD editions of these as well. If you're an actiony person, like I am, then Shokuzuji and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, this was heavily promoted. Black Eagle actually dug, but this was heavily promoted as a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It's not really. But it's a fun movie, and there's a lot of extra features on here. A lot of really neat stuff. Again, it came with a kind of mini poster there as well. And right after that, there was Return of the Swamp Thing, which was another one that now is, some of these can get a little priced now. So if you're going to get like the 4K of this, that can, like, if you live in Canada, it can get like pretty pricey. I'm not sure what it is, and in America, but if you want to get like the original edition of this, or you want to get like the DVD edition of it, then it's a it's a less expensive way to go. But I really enjoyed this. I'm a special features person, so for me, and here's the difference. For some people, it's going to be okay if to go online or maybe pick up like an iTunes edition or to maybe go for like a streaming version of it, or through like a paid streaming service. There's different ways that you can go. No way is wrong. Whatever way that you want to watch and enjoy films is the way that you should watch and enjoy films. So if you're like, okay, well, if you got a whole bunch of like your iTunes library, or you got your digital library, that's still your library. Those are still like the movies that you watch, that you enjoy, and nobody should make other collectors feel bad for the way that they want to collect. It's very important that the key thing is that everybody gets and enjoys the movies that they want to enjoy. This is just for me. It's a nice kind of like more inexpensive way to get physical media into your collection, and I'll continue to do like certain videos to give, like, if you enjoy this one, like tips and hints, and I'll focus on different kind of like lower budget titles or sale things. I do often on my channel focus on certain sales and that, so that you can do it without having to always break the bank. Always remember, when you're doing this, when you're collecting films, when you're getting movies that you want in your collection, stuff that you want to keep, like, curate it. Don't just grab something just to grab it. Make it a film that you know you're gonna like. The question I ask myself now, and I didn't used to. I used to be like a hardcore collector where I just had to grab everything. Was that, am I gonna watch this again? Am I going to enjoy it? Is there more than the film that I want it for? And for me, where I like special features, where I love to learn as much as I can about films, about cinema, and especially about like films I like, and just I'm really intrigued with everything that goes on behind the scenes. That's one of the reasons I love stuff like this. I love audio commentaries. I love special features, and that's why I choose to get most of my things through physical media. Now, there's times, for instance, when I bought Reanimator from the FYE Steelbook, and it only had the one disc edition of a 2-disc set. It was the way that it was set up. So watch out for that Reanimator, that really sexy looking FYE Steelbook from Reanimator. That I wanted the extra cut of the film. So Apple iTunes had a sale, and I bought the extra cut of the film because it was there, and with some extra special features as well. So always look out for that too. You can always like supplement as well when you're looking towards certain films. Okay, I love this movie. I'm not quite sure why. I just really love this film. And it's John Cryer and Oni Sky, Frank Wally, and this is Went to Coney Island on Mission from God, Be Back by 5. It is such a good film. And the director of this movie went on to work with MVD Rewind and do most of their documentaries. And I mean, like, they do massive documentaries, like they do like 90-minute documentaries on films you wouldn't expect, which is amazing, insane and amazing. Speaking of Serial Midnight and his channel, this movie here, it had a great write up by over at Syrup Midnight website. So this movie was lost. The director got the rights to it back and wanted to put it out, but the movie couldn't be found. It took a lot to actually find this. Now, this wasn't an old movie either. This was a movie done back in 2005. So this is not a movie that should have been lost. But this is how easy it is for a movie to fall between the cracks and to not be seen again. But this is a great one. It's a lot of fun. It's Ryan Schifrin, who is the son of Laszlo Schifrin, the composer. So he actually, his dad does music for this, and there's a big cast on this one here as well. Next up is Wind Rider. It's Nicole Kidman's first I guess film, breaking out of the teen mold and going into like more kind of like a no, I hate to say adult stuff, but like more serious, more mature films. And of course, Tom Burnington from The Man from Snowy River. Next up was Shadow Builder, which is a lot of fun. This had an lenticular cover back in the day. It was one of those that just kind of sucked me in. Michael Rooker is in this one. Tony Todd, anything Michael Rooker's in, I'll get. And I actually really did dig this one. You see, Michael Rooker's a priest, so this actor is probably better known for a movie I'm going to show you later on. But Olivier Grenier made Angel Town. It is a action movie, kind of like it's supposed to be more pure to like streets, gangs type of thing, and it really is. I actually used a real gang in the movie, which was quite interesting and makes for some really cool interviews and stuff in here. Like there's an interview with the director and producer, and it's 43 minutes and 55 seconds long, so it's really interesting to check out. Trust me. Next up is probably the one that I think I've got to go back and watch again, because when I watched this film initially when I was a kid, I loved it. When I watched it again more recently, I was only okay with it, and I think it's one that I really got to go back and really rewatch, because it is a good film. I know it's a good film, and I know I really got to just rediscover it. And that is Bright Lights, Big City with Michael J. Fox, Phoebe Cates, Kiefer Sutherland, fantastic cast, and it really hits that kind of '80s era. It's a late '80s film, but it really hits kind of like the mid to late '80s era. If you lived through those times, then some of that stuff is way too close to home. You've probably known somebody, unfortunately, that. Yeah. Next up is the one that Olivier Grenier is best known for, and that is Nemesis. It is a sci-fi action film done by Albert Pion. Rest in peace. I love the heck out of this movie. I like the Nemesis series. I know it's not for everyone, but what's really neat is that this is a 2-disc set. There's a Blu-ray and DVD. Now here's what's really cool. So there's a couple cuts of the film. So we got Nemesis on here. You got Nemesis 2.0, which is a director's cut. And on the DVD, there's a Japanese extended cut of the film on here as well, which I think was only on Laserdisc before. So definitely worth picking up. Next up is Double Dragon. We picked up the 101 Films release of this, which is bare bones, and we got it for like $5 during a sale. So I was at my local Walmart. That's why this one doesn't have a slipcase, because sometimes Walmart, they want to have slipcases. I found this one for $8, and I could not pick it up because we really did enjoy Double Dragon. And it was loaded with special features, including the pilot to the animated series. So really kind of dug that. So recommend that as well. Next up is a very different one, starring Billy Blanks as the sage guy that kind of like he's the Miss Miyagi of this film. And Showdown is so much fun. It is strange, it is weird, but I love it. If you've never seen it, definitely check it out. Patrick Kilpatrick is in this one too, and Patrick Kilpatrick is one of those actors. If you've seen Scanner's Cop 2, then you know what I'm talking about. He's just kind of intense, and he just really gets into the roles when he does them. Next up is Nemesis, not just 2, but 2, 3, and 4. So 3 movies, one great price. And these starred, God, what's her name? Sue, right? Sue Price. Now there is a fifth one, but it's considered kind of unofficial. And when they did, when they put this out, they did put it on one Blu-ray, but it's still actually fairly decent quality. And what's kind of cool is there's some. I just had a lot of fun with these here. Your mileage may vary depending on how if you like these type of films, but I really dug the Nemesis films. Next up is a JCVD film, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it's Double Impact. What's better than one Jean-Claude Van Damme? Well, two, of course. I really enjoyed this one. There's a ton of features on here. What they did with this is they did a double documentary. So they did like two 45-minute documentaries, so you get like not one documentary, but two. And I think that was really clever and funny to do it like that. You'll notice that they put a lot of these kind of like faux, like new release, please be kind, rewind things to give it kind of the VHS feel from the stores back in the day. Here's a really interesting one with Maxwell Caulfield. I'm a big fan of, and Shawnee Weatherly and Eddie Albert Jr. And this is Mind Games. It was a really different role for Maxwell Caulfield. I guess it was who kind of did a similar, well, The Boys Next Door. But after Grease 2, this is kind of what you. This is an interesting one in that Shawn Weatherly, she's gorgeous, but her character for me in the film, she was kind of unlikable, and I felt that she had to be more likable in the film, especially for the whole conceit of it to work. But at the end of the day, when I rewatched it, I enjoyed it a lot more. So it's one of those that really kind of gained more steam and momentum on the second watching. There's not much in these collections here that I've watched just once. It's that's the reason it takes me a while to get into certain films, especially newer stuff. Mikey, yeah, just pick this up. This is so good. This is such a good movie. And look at the cast: Josie Bissett. We got Lyman Ward, John Deal from Miami Vice first couple seasons. Also, of course, from Angel. We got Ashley Lawrence, Mimi Craven. Yes, she was married to Wes, and Brian Bonsell as Mikey. And Brian Bonsell was probably most famous back in the '80s for being the kid on Family Ties. But man, is he good in this film? He's like so good and kind of creepy too. Whereas The Good Son kind of half worked for me, Mikey really worked. It was a really cool one. Next up is another one that I bought at a store. So unfortunately, I didn't get the slipcase to this. And when I traveled back to Morocco with it, it got kind of like crunched. So I got to get a new case for it. And that is Mortuary. Again, just another really good, really fun film. Picked it up for $10 and enjoyed the hell out of this one. I won the two more recent ones, and I think I got this one for 19, and I got the other one for 22. And that is the Go-Go Boys, the Inside Story of Canon Film. So there is another documentary about Canon Films. You've seen it. This is the other one that's actually done by the surviving member of the Golden Globus. It's not as good, but it's still a lot of fun, and I really do recommend you check it out. I really enjoyed this. He refuses to admit that he's made a bad film. He says, "No, all my films are good." And last but not least is the one that probably the one I paid most for out of everything in this collection, just because I hadn't seen it, and I really, really wanted to, and I'm glad I did, because I bought it at the same time Massacre at Central High, which was, in a way, a slightly similar film. Now this is very much more like I don't think it's a TV film, but it's very much more plays like a TV film. It even gives like a VHS version of the film on here as well, and that is Monday Morning. Love this one right here. It's a little bit misleading with this cover, but it does go there. And there's the Class of Fears, the alternate artwork for it right there. It's a young Lisa Rinna, if you know who that is. You probably do. But there you go. MVD Rewind and Vestron Video have put out a lot of really good, like less expensive titles. They are what I would consider two great boutique labels that put a lot of work and a lot of features in there, and they don't make you break the bank when you go out to buy their stuff, which is really important. If you like this series of like just me trying to, we're focusing in sometimes on some titles that can help you, like some titles, some films, some companies that can help you, like help build your collection. If you're interested in the titles, that's the most important part. And without having to go broke to do it, then especially at a time when you know the cost and standard of living, especially in certain places, can get very expensive. Um, Recently in Canada, like groceries apparently were going to be going up like 5 or 10% in some areas. So that's a massive thing to do. So when you're looking at some of these films, it really is a luxury item. So when you're looking at something that you're going to buy that is a luxury item, you want to make sure that it's something that one that you can afford, and that you're not putting yourself out to do so. So as long as it's like that, and as long as like there's a lot of labels and companies that where the prices are raising, um, like tremendously, we'll be doing some videos off and on about this here, like about looking into other ways so you can get physical media in your collection, so that it's not really going to like be too rough. One of these days, I'm going to do a live. We're going to go on, look at the websites and stuff like that. We'll start up a few of those, and there you go. Hope that helps out. And I want to thank Keith for inspiring this video, because it really gave me a lot to think about. And hopefully, when you're watching the video, like you understand that when he's talking about stuff like that, and whether it's collecting through physical media or digital media, like he's seriously, it's a guy that's got a lot of passion for it, and it comes from a serious place of love. So thank you for inspiring that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comment section down below, because I gotta say, even Angel Town, which is one where I wasn't, we finished it, and we were like, do we like this? Do we like this movie? Are we gonna watch this movie again? And we started talking about it, and then we started watching the special features on it. We're like, we're definitely gonna watch this movie again. And I think it was like about a week later, me and my better half sat down, we rewatched Angel Town, and I really enjoyed it. Like we knew then that it was a real gang that worked on it, and there was we knew some of the stories behind the scenes, and that really does help sometimes. I find, like, especially if you don't like a film, you may not like it, but with the special features, out of commentaries, the interviews, um, it can really help like flesh out and give you a brand new perspective and love for a film that you might already love, or that might be just you're not quite sure. You're curious and you want to know more. And there's so many movies that we can talk about where the behind the scenes story is sometimes just as or even more fascinating than the film itself. My name is Aaron. This has been the Cult of Cinema. I will see you next time. Remember, for the love of the movie, we do this for the love of the movie. Enjoy yourself. Don't break the bank, and I'll see you soon.